Now entering the suburbs. Yes, like the midpoint of many people's lives, we are at the midpoint of the game, and we are leaving the city and moving to the suburbs. Although, unlike most people's lives, we weren't killing a bunch of people at that point. But we've been doing that this entire time, so I don't think that's that big of a deal. I'm Ben here with Compelled Cooperation, and we're in the suburbs, playing through more of Doom 2. You may notice a lot of enemies. They're really throwing them at us fast here, and this has one of the highest enemy densities of any level in Doom 2. It may not seem that way yet, just because we're still running around some of these buildings here, but as we go out into these larger courtyard areas, you can start to see what I mean. Yeah, just look at the number of fireballs there. This is the part of the city levels that I like. There's enough varied experiences here. It's not all giant squares. There are lots of interesting things to do, just broken up into more segments than the other levels. I do always like the combined architecture of the hellscapes with the humanscapes, I guess you could say. The human architecture. And here's that enemy density I was talking about. Thankfully, monster infighting has already caused a lot of problems. Well, problems for them, not for us. It is extremely hard to see the invisible enemies when you have the green tinted screen, and I am not doing too hot, so that was, I think this may, I'll have to go back and look. This may be the lowest I've gotten in health in this run. 2% with 0% armor, I don't know. Yeah, I am not doing too good, but that's exciting, at least. We'll see. Those of you who have been following along this entire time, I am playing on the hardest difficulty that doesn't have respawning enemies, because Nightmare is its own weird... Well, I guess Nightmare is the best way of putting it. Enemies respawn, they fire and run around twice as fast. There's all sorts of weird stuff, so most people play on the highest difficulty that doesn't have all of those special caveats to it, and that's what I'm playing on. So in my defense, when all these things are happening, it is a difficult difficulty. And so many choices here. At this point in the game, since we haven't died yet, we have so much ammo that it really ends up being a choice of what ammo do we have the most of. That way, when we're running around later, we can actually be using these pickups instead of wasting pickups and just leaving them behind. So in this case, I'm using a lot of shells, but there have been several times where there's just been boxes of shells that have 20 in them, so I've been getting all that back. And my rocket count keeps going up. I always tend to conserve rockets, even though they're not as useful as you might believe. Oh yeah, speaking of enemy density, I've been a lot more liberal with my use of the BFG, just because at a certain point we start getting cell ammo more and more often, and BFG doesn't use up all that much in one shot. It uses up 40 in one shot, but the get you get for that is so much higher, especially in a giant room full of enemies, even if they're not big enemies. And there's some secrets around here. There we go. That's one of them. But I don't want that just yet, because I already have 147% health. And while the armor would be useful, I know that it'll be more useful to me a bit later on. There's another little thing I need to shoot here. There we go. That's one secret. And the other thing was in another secret. Alright, my dodging skills aren't as good as I thought they were. Okay, they're even worse than I thought they were. I take that back. Yeah, this level, because of the number of enemies, often caused computers to crash back in the day. Thankfully, I'm on a modern computer, so that's not an issue, but it also doesn't hold a candle to some of the custom WADs that people have made. WADs, for those not in the know, are where's all the data files, and that's how Doom stores its maps. So there are lots of custom maps out there that have extremely high monster densities. I'm sure you can go on YouTube and watch people doing perfect 100% runs of those ridiculous maps, but some of those maps themselves now are 20 years old. Okay, maybe not that old. Back then you wouldn't have had a computer that was beefy enough to run them, but even still, some of those maps are pretty old. And they have gotten perhaps legendary status for how ridiculous they are. Hundreds, if not thousands, of enemies shooting all at once, and hundreds of pickups to refill your ammo. Just non-stop BFG shots and other things. You have to clear things out in a very specific order to actually have enough ammo to survive. It becomes a very different game, I think. But I guess it speaks to how versatile Doom is that you can have all this going on at once. As we wander past the corpses littering the ground. Pick up some more pickups. We're nearing completion here. Got a little more stuff to do. That one secret that's left is the one that has the pickup that I left specifically to grab later on. And they can't see me conveniently. And that's why the BFG is useful. And you'll notice that even though we were using it earlier, we're back up to, we had 600, so there's really no reason not to use the BFG every now and then. And we got one guy who's still alive. Need to find him. Not that I'm going for 100% kills on this run, but we know he's out there. We'll figure. Might as well take him out. Save the suburbs for another day. Now, is he up there? Did not look like he was up there. Felt like an imp hiding in a corner somewhere. In the secret area here, I took everybody out in. This is one of the more tricky ones to find. All of the other doors don't lead anywhere on the outside. They all open to the pile of bodies. You just can't go through it. One more check around. He's got to be here somewhere. Or she. It. I don't think any of these creatures have, well, Maybe they do, but I don't really want to know. There we go. This thing, whatever it is. It's dead. That's all you need to know. And we can finally finish this level. And we're done. In a speed run, we could have squeezed through that and not gotten the key, but I'm not that fast.